My name is Steve Shearing. I own the Amsoil Snowcross race team. We've taken the Amsoil products to the extremes and they've delivered every single time. Last race of the season at Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, one of our drivers was out in front, got rear-ended, broke the heat exchanger. We lost all our coolant the second lap of the 15-lap main event. Our driver was able to finish a race in a top 5 position with the motor still running. The good thing about the Amsoil products, it's so constant. You know, we have the exact same performance results time after time after time. For more than a decade, we've been winners with Amsoil.
Welcome to Sledhead 24/7. I'm your host, Misha Johnson, and we are here at Speedworks in Forest Lake, where oil and gas combine to create a whole lot of fun. Now up first, Paul Mack goes back to school. That's right, he's going back to school to have his knowledge of the snowmobile tested in a big way. Welcome to YMU, Yamaha Motor University.
Hey everybody, Paul Mack here. I've got my notebook to keep track of my notes. I've got my shiny red apple to bribe the professors at YMU, Yamaha Motor University. We're going to go inside, go back to school, and test my knowledge with snowmobiles.
Use one vacuum gauge.
At Yamaha Motor University, these lucky students received a fuel-injected education of a lifetime. A behind-the-scenes, mostly all-access pass at Yamaha's headquarters, the ultimate schoolyard for a motorhead.
Size does matter. They say it don't, people, it does. Check out the size of this one. I'm 6'2".
The scholars strolled down legendary Snowmobile Row and experienced the cave-like wonders at one of the world's largest and most efficient warehouses. Amid it all, the Macman can't get riding off his mind. The day at YMU begins with an intense classroom lecture, followed by hands-on education in the shop.
And we brought you in to give you an education about how Yamaha 4-stroke engines work, how the fuel injection system works, and then this afternoon we're going to talk about the suspension systems.
Morning.
If you want a good grade at school, it's important to impress the teacher. And the Macman was prepared to do whatever it takes. Everyone wanted a close-up of the power plant and the supercomputer that controls it.
The brains right there.
That's the brains of the unit?
Yep.
But the lesson learned was simple. Keep it simple. Basically, leave the engine alone. No tweaks needed. No need to split the cases.
Yamaha advantage #1, ease of use, is true for the engines. It's literally a gas and go, change the oil every 2,500 miles at the dealership. There isn't anything to adjust, right? You haven't seen anything that you can adjust. It automatically calibrates and compensates for the conditions.
And accordingly, the Macman took great notes and bought into the 4-stroke system. Time now for a little shock therapy. The lesson plan was how to handle the handling. Yamaha has countless ways to customize. How hard do you ride? What are the snow conditions? And most importantly, how do you want the sled to feel? The questions are easily answered.
So this is our XTX, which is an oil-based shock. It's not an air shock like our mountain sleds. And the compression adjuster. Now back here would be your cam adjuster, and you'll see, you know, medium, hard, and soft.
So now he's sitting on it, now it's compressing the spring. So now we can measure it and compare it to our first measurement, and that's what we know what our sag is. Our goal is to have 40 to 45 millimeters change of spring length.
So maybe you have a good day of powder and you want a little bit more weight transfer because your traction isn't quite there. You might want to drop some air pressure out of the rear shock or add some air pressure to the center shock. So quite a bit of tunability for that type of day condition.
You can click it, crank it, or even pump it up. And presto, you've got your ride dialed in.
There's no excuse not to set it up right if you're going to spend this kind of money on this kind of a snowmobile. Now get out and get the thing running just the way you want it, handling perfectly. It'll be a lot funner to ride.
From shocks to motors, even oil and gas, the instructors at YMU laid out the lessons. But now, it was showtime. The Macman was ready to take the final exam. As a racer, he was known as a smart rider. But will that translate to top of the class?
This is harder than Chinese algebra, if that's possible. Multiple choice? I call this multiple guess. Which models from the lab use GYTR dual clicker front shocks? A, FX Nitro, XT. Oh man, I cannot believe how hard this test is. I'm just sweating bullets. All right, I think that's it. Check my answers twice. Everything looks good. I'm gonna see what they have to say. Let the judges decide.
Paul, congratulations. Thanks for coming out to Yamaha Motor University. You've graduated.
Thanks, Wade. Appreciate it.
Congrats to Paul Mack, magna cum motorhead.